Honey, come on over here, sugar buns. This machine just called me an asshole.
This is the emergency podcast system. This is not a test. Movies are bombing all over the country. They are posing as movies you already know. They may already be in your theaters, your neighbor's home, or even your own. Do not panic. Specialists have been dispatched. They will help you identify these pretenders and defend you against this invasion of the remake. Please stand by for further instructions.
Welcome to the Invasion of the Remake podcast. And we are going into Maximum Overdrive today with Trish Coughlin.
Hey, vroom.
And we have some guests we're going to have later on in the show as we remake it. But before we do, we're going to be joined by Movie Geek and Proud, Bad Reception, Film Flamers, and the Horror Academic with their takes on Maximum Overdrive.
Nice.
Sam's not going to be able to join us this week.
Well, he did say he was going to quote-unquote fix the garbage disposal, so...
And we haven't really heard from him since.
No.
I'm assuming he doesn't have any thumbs or fingers at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. If the stuff that's been going crazy today, I mean, almost didn't make because my vehicle was just like swerving all over the place. It's become alive.
Yeah, my phone was doing some weird things, so I just threw it aside. And that is like the theme of this movie is technology run amok. Mm-hmm. This is... Maximum Overdrive is a Stephen King movie. It's a Stephen King movie directed by Stephen King on an obscene amount of cocaine.
By his own admission.
By his own admission, so I don't even have to say allegedly.
No, you don't. He said yes, and he doesn't remember directing this movie.
And it is clear he is on an insane amount of cocaine.
Yes.
In this movie, because it is Stephen King directing a Stephen King short story that doesn't feel like a Stephen King story.
Yeah.
Like, Stephen King at its heart is driven by character and their traumas and secrets that come out while something weird is happening.
Yeah, and it seems like he
doesn't have
wanted
that.
it so badly, and nothing.
Yeah. This feels more like a George Romero survival zombie film, except with trucks.
Yes.
They even, like Dawn of the Dead, they escape and go to that island.
Yep.
Despite being attacked along the way. And we'll get to some of that, too.
Absolutely.
And George Romero was actually on this set a lot, giving Stephen King advice. And you kind of feel that presence within the film. Mm-hmm. Well, whether there's been some theories that he did more directing of the film than Stephen King.
Yeah.
Stephen King's never come out and said so. But the influence is certainly here.
Oh yeah, and I think he did. There is some more where it's
funny.
You can totally
I
tell.
wrote that down. I wrote Dawn of the Dead with trucks before I read the notes on this movie. I watched the movie and then I read the notes, and then this George Romero thing comes up in the notes, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And I spotted that without knowing that.
Absolutely. It's there's very much that feel of it.
Yeah.
Because, it's not... The character stuff, it's sort of... Stephen King's stories with the character sort of lends itself to kind of a longer, slower burn, because a lot more stuff has to happen. But there's too many characters in this movie. That's the main point.
Yeah.
Too many people in the diner.
Yeah, that you don't give a shit about. You don't give a shit about any of them.
I don't know who's who most of the time.
No, most of the time it takes half the film for somebody to say somebody else's name.
Yeah.
Like, I just kept waiting for names to pop up, and I'm like, all right, that's who that is. Thank God, now I know, so I can do my casting later.
The only names I remembered was Kurt and Connie.
Yeah, Yardley Smith, Lisa Simpson.
Yep.
And it's funny, because she's thoroughly embarrassed about this film. There is another character in this movie, Brett, and she actually says to another character, "Eat my shorts," which is a shitty line
Yep.
in a live-action film. But it is a year before The Simpsons make their debut on the Tracy Ullman Show. So she said it before The Simpsons did it. Before Bart Simpson said it.
She's the originator of it.
She is the originator. I mean, maybe they took it from somewhere else, but I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, like Bart Simpson really made that work.
Yeah, see, because I think if it would just been said in this movie, that phrase would have gotten forgotten forever.
Yeah, and ironically, The Simpsons would do an homage to this film as well in Maximum Overdrive.
Yep. Yeah, I can't. A Treehouse of Horror will always figure out a way to do because this is sort of a semi-famous movie. People know of it.
Yeah,
It was a big renter, I think.
I think
in the
it
80s.
was financially. This movie didn't do well. I mean, it had a fairly modest budget. Dino De Laurentiis film budgeted at $10 million. Do you know how much it actually made in the box office? I only have U.S. numbers. but
Okay, I'm gonna go with 6.
not that far off, 7.4.
Yes.
So yeah, you're
getting
right.
better at this game.
It lost money.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? They pushed this hard. You can watch old videos of Stephen King promoting this movie, and you can tell he's on a lot of cocaine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so they had to really. They put a lot of stuff behind this, but it never.
No, there's definitely a lot of ambition, and when I run the trailer, you guys are gonna love that trailer.
Oh yes, right.
The trailer is fantastic because it's almost like, oh, you should have kept your mouth shut, Stephen.
Directed by Stephen King. They really lean into
Stephen
that.
King's in the ad saying, if you
Yeah.
want a Stephen King story done right, get Stephen King to do it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Maybe not. It's funny when people ask Stephen King why he hasn't directed another movie, and he's like, have you seen Maximum Overdrive?
It's good that he acknowledges it now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing him try something later,
Well,
but
that's just it.
now that he's sober.
What would sober Stephen King do? No, it's I've made a shit ton of money and I'm shoving it up my nose, Stephen King.
I think Stephen King would lean more towards the stuff that happens in The Mist. It would be this group of people sort of turning on each other while everything is going to shit outside.
And that's kind of where I want to lean towards with our version of is character driven. It's not as much the technology, and especially not this organized attack by technology.
Right?
I'm still down with this idea of, it's a little weird, but the Earth being caught in this comet tail, this energy, and I like to think of it as aliens without a form taking form within these empty shells that technology provides. So they can't take over a human being because we have souls, we have something already driving the engine.
And see, I kind of look at it where it's sort of they're a mist, but there's an electronic basis for it, so they can interact better with devices that require electricity, electronics, battery power.
You know, I almost like to think of it as maybe they're not energy beings so much as the remnants of a society. These are literally the energy spirits of a dead race. And that's all that's left is in this comet tail.
You've just stated Scientology.
Oh no! Oh fuck! Yeah, but I'm speaking on a fictitious way.
I know, but I'm like, oh, you just did Scientology.
Well, fuck that.
And the Thetans are attacking machines. That's what you've done.
Dear God in heaven, it's not real.
Yeah. So I had one question though. I keep wondering about it, considering how prevalent electronics are these days, including microchips in cars. I'm just wondering, and we do want to make it more people based. Do we want to make this kind of maybe a period piece just for ease of?
No, you know what? I actually think of it because part of what these things are, when I think of what Romero was doing with his movies, and as in horror movies, the good ones always are making a commentary on society, sometimes very well hidden, but whether it's communism or whatever, especially in the 80s. And I think this over-reliance on technology is a great opportunity for a modern take on this as a commentary on our reliance on our devices.
Yeah.
And, I mean, our homes have personal assistants now.
Oh, my God.
Mine doesn't, and I'll probably never will.
With all the people that you see dead in the beginning, you could show people dying in their homes, like the Simpsons episode where Homer is attacked by Pierce Brosnan in the house.
Yes. Absolutely. Always fear Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
That's the moral of the story, isn't it?
Well, unless he's Remington Steele, and then you're perfectly fine. I love that show.
That was a pretty good show. Mm-hmm. He was pretty good as a Bond. He just got the shitty Bonds. But,
Well, he was too old to do it at the time. If he had done it Remington Steele time,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, anyway, back to Maximum Overdrive. But yeah, the over-reliance on it and the electronics. But it would be interesting. I would like to actually one scene where somebody has a question about something, but they can't use their phones, so they can't Google anything, so they don't know.
Yeah. You kind of, this movie's set at a really good pace right away when Stephen King's looking at the ATM and it's calling him an asshole.
And the sign above is saying, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah. Even if some sort of alien consciousness was possessing our machinery, I doubt it would use our colloquialisms for.
Oh, I doubt it would
slang.
swear out the gate.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be.
I think it would be
that.
stuff like submit or
Yeah.
this is our home now, or yeah, I don't know what they'd say. It'd be like, what are you guys up to? Yeah, we need to wait for them to like voice their anger, but not so much. Yeah, because like I like the idea where they talk about it being their new home, and they came to like just invade because they just want this place.
And yeah, cleansing the biologicals. We're just the infestation that's in the way of them living.
Yeah.
Granted, there is a good spot in the movie where, especially the ones that are taking over the trucks, I'm not sure what silly consciousness decided to take over an electronic knife.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was just
well,
silly.
it's pretty deadly if it can get to somebody.
If it can vibrate across the counter, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's one that like took over a hairdryer.
Yeah. There were definitely some devices. It's like, I don't get this. And I mean, the 80s, this movie makes even less sense because it's like, well, just reach over and unplug the fucking thing.
Yep.
Because once there's no power, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's no chip in anything in this movie.
Yeah, and that's part of it. And we live in a Wi-Fi world now.
Yep.
So we have the internal batteries in a lot of things.
Well, not even just that.
And we can even charge our phones without plugging them in with those little pads.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, is those little pads are now you can just charge anything you want.
So, in the 80s, there was a certain amount of reliance, especially the vehicles, and they realized their power source was petroleum. Mm-hmm. So they needed that extra energy. I mean, yes, there's a battery in there to spark that engine, but...
And also to charge some of the electronics within the vehicle.
Yeah.
But it's not the primary motive.
And there weren't as many, vehicles were a lot simpler then too. Now everything's got a chip in the vehicle, so it makes a little more sense now. And I could just imagine, I can see this thing where it's like this... A lot of vehicles need to be refueled except this one car, and they're like fucking hybrids.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this Prius that's just wandering through. Woohoo!
Once it got going, it's fine.
Oh my god, I would love for them to have like kind of personalities, and the Prius is like, "This is how you do it," like just mocking the big trucks.
Yeah, well, just going. I didn't like how it was selective. I'm guessing there just wasn't enough energy to possess every vehicle because they didn't like Kurt and Connie's car.
No.
They drove away from other cars that were chasing them with no drivers.
I think
you'd think their car would have probably wanted to join in on that.
You would think, but part of it is plot holes come with the holes you get in your nose from cocaine.
I think this is
the way it deviates your septum is the way it deviates plots.
This is a perfect time to hear from the man himself. Let's run the trailer for Maximum Overdrive.
Hi, my name is Stephen King. I've written several motion pictures, but I want to tell you about a movie called Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I've directed. Wow.
What in the dickens is going on around here?
A lot of people have directed Stephen King novels and stories. And I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
And who was driving it?
I don't know.
Curtis! It's coming after us!
It was my first picture as a director. And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
What is going
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
You want a war? You got one.
I just want to get the hell out of here.
So come and spend some time with me and my friends at the Dixie Boy. Spend some time in the dark.
Please don't let us be in the dark.
Help me.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And that's a promise.
You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man.
We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming and he is.
Maximum King.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
That was Maximum Overdrive from 1986. You heard Stephen King. You want to get a good Stephen King movie, you have to have Stephen King direct it. So, you know, it sucks.
It's a bit of a
Carrie,
mess.
awful. Forget about it. Shining, fuck
Fuck
that.
yeah, fuck
That's
that.
nobody likes that movie.
Yeah, nobody. The Mist? No.
No. Just give up now.
It?
Yeah. Green Mile.
I know.
What a piece
are you
of
gonna-
trash.
Shawshank Redemption. Go.
Garbage.
To be fair, those last two are not really his horror ones. So
No. Really good.
they're really good. They are really good.
All right, 1986, directed and written by Stephen King, who we've talked about before. The first time was in episode 96, The Running Man.
Yes.
And then episode 175,
Oh my god, I don't know this
that
one.
was Carrie.
Carrie, yes.
Starring
Sam's better at this game.
He is, but he's not here to play along. Emilio Estevez stars as Bill Robinson, and we talked about him in episode 131, Repo Man.
Oh. Was I there for that?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
was, or I might have been away.
I'm not sure. Pat Hingle was
Yes.
Bubba Hendershot, and best remembered for Batman series, the Tim Burton ones. Laura Harrington was Brett, who you could see in The Devil's Advocate. Yardley Smith, best known as Lisa Simpson on The Simpsons. John Short was Kurt, her husband, and we've talked about him in episode 16, way back.
16.
Yeah, that was How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the remake edition.
Oh, he was one of the Who's.
He was exactly that. You can also see him in Apollo 13. Ellen McElduff was in Working Girl and JFK. She played the wonderfully over-the-top waitress. We made you!
They can't.
I'm going to play that at the end of the episode, guys.
Yeah.
So, you want to hear it. We're going to play it for you. J.C. Quinn was Duncan. He was the salesman in this movie, and I couldn't believe it. We've talked about him a couple of times. Episode 162, which was Chud.
Oh.
And
wait, yeah.
really recently in episode 204, fucking Prayer of the Roller Boys. I never thought anything would tie back to that fucking movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Christopher Murney was Camp Loman. He was in Barton Fink. Holter Graham, he was Deke. We actually have talked about him before in episode 179, which was Hairspray. I don't know if you were there for that
I wasn't
one.
there for Hairspray.
I bet you wish you were. Hairspray. Come
I
on.
know. Hairspray would have been awesome.
We did a musical. Frankie Faison was Handy. He's the guy who owns the Green Goblin truck, the toy truck.
Yes.
And we've talked about him a boatload of times. He was also in...
He looked very familiar.
Yeah, he was also in 162 Chud. He was in 137, the episode when we talked about the cat people. And he was also in episode 99, both movies we talked about. He was in Manhunter and the remake Red Dragon.
Oh, wow.
I know.
He's been everywhere. Wow, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Pat Miller was Joe. He was in Raw Deal. Jack Cannon was Max. He was in Weekend at Bernie's. There's actually quite a few people from Weekend at Bernie's in this movie. Larry Parks was Steve. We actually did talk about a movie he was in, and that was way back in episode 8
Oh my god!
Trick or Treat. We remade Trick or Treat. And no, not the anthology film.
Yeah,
this is the rock and roll horror movie.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun to do that one. John Basington was Frank. He was in Scanners. Leon Rippey was Brad. He was in Eight-Legged Freaks. Robert Gooden was Barry. He was in the best movie of them all, The Night of the Lepus. Okay, maybe not. And there was
just bragging about that on set.
There was a couple of cameos that I wanted to also mention as well. Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
He was playing the video games.
I saw him in there. I'm like, going, oh my gosh.
And anybody who doesn't remember him, he was Gus Fring on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Best known for fucking Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Marla Maples was also in this movie.
What was she?
She's just credited as second woman, so I guess she's the second woman who shows up in the film. I don't know what that means.
That's probably just how Donald Trump refers to her as well, second woman.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a name. I guarantee that she's been referred to like that.
I did miss where she was, but I assume she was in that carnage on the bridge that was raising up.
Oh yeah, that beginning of that opening scene
where they had the AC/DC truck as well.
With the goofballs in it. I don't know what was up with that.
Well, it's because AC/DC didn't want to be in the movie, but Stephen King was a big fan, so that's why AC/DC's all over this soundtrack. Yes. In fact, the album "Who Is Who" is essentially a soundtrack to this movie.
Oh yeah.
Not a best of, but it's an actual soundtrack.
Yeah,
to this movie.
Who Made Who, Hell's Bells, a whole bunch of ones.
Yeah, there were a lot of
Shook
songs.
Me All Night Long.
Yeah, it was cool to hear all that AC/DC.
The songs of my youth.
Exactly, the movie of our youth.
Yes.
So that's your primary cast there. I mean, there's a lot of people in this movie for being essentially outside of the initial opening chaos. It is essentially a one location kind of film.
Yeah.
Once we get to that truck stop diner, that's pretty much everything that happens there. We've got that kid on the outside who's kind of working his way there because his dad's there. Although by the time he gets there, his dad's dead.
His dad's dead. Oh. And his dad's already in bad shape before he gets there. He was there with diesel sprayed in his eyes. Oh.
Oh, yeah. No, but he was going to fight through it. At that point, it's coming. Come on, guys! Like this thing's going to just run you over.
True, but I mean, I don't know. I've never had children. I'm assuming that you kind of really care about them and want to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, that was surprising in this movie because when they had the kids at the baseball diamond, and one actually gets run over by a paver.
Yes, and really rolling at
a steamroller.
Yeah, steamroller that's moving at a pretty good pace.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, it wasn't a real kid. It was a dummy, but Steven had them put a blood bag because what he wanted to do is it imprint on this steamroller so it would leave like this stamp every time it came back around on the lawn. But it actually went off early, and it actually wound up being better. Unfortunately, it was too good because they wound up having to cut it out because it looked like the kid's head went.
Yep, which is what would have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and but it's funny is when you look at the cans in the machine, it's so funny to watch the moment where the little cannons that they've made with the plastic outlines are shooting, and then they go away for a little bit, and then they come back when more cans shoot out. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's not a subtle effect. Not at all.
No.
Plus these dummies, what did they do? They run opposite of the can thing. Just go left a bit.
Yeah, when you have a soda dispenser shooting heavy cans of pop, when it's coming out at a good clip, just step to the left or the right.
Yes.
Don't sit in front of it or run in the direction, even away from it. You're still going to get pelted. I mean, that poor guy, that coach got pelted in the face and got killed. How embarrassing. He killed by a Coke machine.
Although when you look at like kind of the ingestion of large sugary drinks over a lifetime, it was just quicker than what would normally happen to him.
There's some commentary.
But yeah, I don't know. Hot take. I'm like, if those kids are stupid enough to not to know to go out of the range of fire, they kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
I don't care that those kids died.
Exactly.
Same as with the woman with the hairdryer. Unplug it.
Well, the dude at the video game thing...
I get why he stayed.
Yeah, I get why he stayed. The smoke machine, just if you're a smoker, was just throw out all these cigarettes and everything.
And the money.
All the money was coming out, so it was like, oh yeah, then I would have left.
Yeah.
Like, instead of gone back to the machine that was fritzing out, well, fuck that.
Yeah.
Which was Star Castle, my brother's favorite game when we were growing up.
Nice. Oh, the arcades.
Star Castle kills.
Nice. Well, arcades are coming back, so they could feature in ours.
Yeah, I was just at a friend's birthday, and we went down to a place called the Rec Room. This is close to my house, but it's, I think, owned by Cineplex, and it's like an adult arcade, so I got to have my beer and shoot aliens.
Yep. Yeah, you can have your beer, shoot aliens, shoot pool. They had like a bunch of stuff over there. Yeah. I guess the one in Edmonton
the
also...
world's biggest Pac-Man machine. It's like, okay, that's what makes people want to play Pac-Man. Just make it bigger.
Yeah, no, that makes no sense.
No. They had Space Invaders there too, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I don't need that.
I felt like there was a lot of gimmicks that I was just like, I don't see the appeal to this, but okay.
Yeah, some of it doesn't make sense, but I mean, if you're a kid, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff at these adult arcades. So.
Well, and there's one thing I could add to this. If we do have a scene at an arcade in ours, I know the one in Edmonton has a bit that has axe throwing.
No.
So people could use the throwing axes to fight against the machines.
This one didn't have that, but they did have a rock wall.
Yeah, if we did do that scene with an arcade, we can just incorporate those elements. People with pool cues just trying to...
Well, I kind of see this as almost an anthology survival movie. I'm like, do the characters have to come together? Because to be honest, in my version, this happens. There's no fucking, like, there's this text at the beginning and text at the end. And at the end, it says the Russians detected a UFO and shot it down with their satellites that shouldn't have been weaponized. Yeah. And then after the comet tail left the Earth, it was supposed to be there for around 8 days.
Yeah.
They had a very specific number. It was 8 days, certain amount of hours.
Oh, seconds. Yeah. They got real specific.
They got a super specific.
An absurd reason. There was no reason for it.
No, it didn't need to be that specific.
No.
I couldn't even be bothered to write it down. But it was very specific. And if Sam was here, he probably wrote it down.
Yes. Because he bothers to do that. We do not.
No.
Because it's not important.
I thought it was the name. But to me, like, this is the technological apocalypse. I don't want us to win.
No.
I don't want us to escape. It happened. Once these things have infested our mechanics, they're here regardless. This is just this comet that the Earth is passing through, this comet tail that we're passing through. That's just the delivery system.
Yeah.
Whether we were still in it or not doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, no.
And so I don't want no fucking UFO.
No.
This is just a story within something that inevitably you're not going to win. Because honestly, the thing that
nowadays we can't. There's no way.
The thing that really bugged. I mean, there's lots of things that bug me about this movie, but when they're escaping, they get through the sewers and then to get to the docks, and they get on the sailboat. Okay, that makes sense.
Sailboat, I get.
Why aren't the motorboats chasing after them?
Exactly.
It's not like there isn't technology on the pier. But it seems like there's
back then,
selectiveness as to what technology gets to chase them, and they all like the big trucks.
Yeah, well,
they're more human than we think.
It's true. But
they
it's
like the big toys.
There's a drive-through at some point springs to life.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Human Alert. I think it's like the selectiveness was just because they decided to ignore some just for the narrative purpose of getting people from A to B.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
But they're logic gaps. Mm-hmm. You know, like imagine our world now where technology is all around us and what that can do. I mean, yeah, I'm not super afraid of what my phone can do, but if I had my headsets in, maybe that could loud screech deafen me or whatever.
Well, like the guy with the Walkman.
Or it explodes and that crystal glass gets in your eye.
Exploding stuff that could happen.
Yeah.
But the guy with the Walkman in who had his ears bleeding at the beginning, that's what happened. But yeah, I don't know. It would, or you couldn't ask it things, or it would direct you into danger.
But these are all GPS. Like, this is basically, we've bugged ourselves so the technology can just find us. I'm like, okay, this guy's got the smartphone in his pocket, and we're going to irradiate his testicles.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, we're going to track them so our big green goblin truck can run him the fuck down.
And if we have our phones on us after we get on the sailboat, guess what might find us? A submarine.
Right?
A nuclear submarine, because
Yeah.
it's not going to half-ass it on us.
Yeah, and that's the nuclear arsenal as well. I mean, granted, that's one thing I can see them, the technological creatures, not using, because nuclear devices give off an EMP pulse, which does what?
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to
Disrupts
disrupt
technology.
them.
So it's funny. I like the idea of the final solution being not a solution.
Yeah.
Like, here's our way out of this is by setting off a nuke, but we can't live here anymore. Like,
Yep.
you can't use that, so that solution
The
wouldn't
nuke
work.
won't work. Like, it's going to kill us. It's going to kill them, but it's going to kill us and
Yeah.
them. There's no way
Right,
it's
so
going to fix.
you've got to figure out how to cause an EMP pulse without causing a nuclear explosion. And yes, movies like Ocean's 11 have done it, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's why, as much as I love that movie, I hate that moment, because it's one of those producer moments. Well, we'll just make something up.
Yeah.
And yes, you did, because it is ludicrous and bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, because like the prevalence of like electricity, electronics.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wireless charging has got to play a part in this as well, because that's bonkers good.
Yeah, well, we've got drones, and I mean, we're talking recreational and military ones. So, like, that little military platform with the machine gun on it is kind of made moot when you've got, like, Predator drones.
Yep.
Suddenly, this is amped up quite a bit, because there's a lot of remote-controlled technology in the military.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about bomb disposal robots, like, there's a lot more of it than you think. Car manufacturing, like, there's robots everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Like, I want part of it to be where they'll just make, like, the machines will continue building stuff. So
I still like this being a horror comedy, but we could have, like, I like the idea of just seeing small moments. We have our primary cast, but continue seeing small moments of technology killing people, and like, say this dude who bought one of those sex robots that are coming out of Japan.
Oh, yes.
Like, oh, yeah.
It's got to kill him. It just has to. It really has to. It's vagina.
I will not be violated from you anymore.
No, yeah. It just squeezes and squeezes until there's a pop. Hey.
Sorry I brought it up.
It's grotesque and funny.
It was what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're not fully functional with their arms right now, so you got to use what you got to use.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. There's so many other ways, like, it could totally go wrong. Like, I don't know, somebody, like, on a jet ski where it goes insane.
Yeah. There's so much more technology in our world now that this would still be a fun movie to do. I mean, it's fine. Lean into the horror comedy. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
We got lots of serious horror, and this can just...
Some of those self-driving cars just taking people out.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah,
That actually is a
we're
thing.
already letting it happen.
Yep.
We're already putting the AI in there so it can happen without a comet tail.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Like, in my head, at some instance, I'm like, do you need aliens? Because you get AI and it realizes how shitty we are. We're dead.
Yeah, actually, maybe that's it. Maybe we lean into it. We've gone so far that it's happened. We've created a self-aware AI that it's like, well, all right then. And I have full control over the internet and anything that's connected to it. And that usually includes electric grids now. There aren't rotary phones anymore. The basic technology's gone away. Everything's complicated now.
Yep.
So there's no escaping that.
Nope. There's no escaping that. Like, I mean, traffic lights, even something like that.
Yeah. That's a simple way to do it. Is like the traffic lights. I'm surprised Steven didn't do this in this movie, where the traffic lights go berserk. People will just blindly obey the traffic lights because that's what we sheeple do. And you should obey the traffic lights, otherwise you will go to jail or have a ticket or something.
Yeah. But if they're flashing, okay, and if they're flashing red all around an intersection, you treat it as a four-way stop. I don't know how many times I have to tell people. I've seen it not go that way, and it fucking pisses me off. Just so you know. Sorry, that's my rant for today.
All right, pet peeve number 3,205.
Exactly. But it's a reasonable pet peeve, honestly.
It is a reasonable pet peeve, but you can see how that would cause chaos alone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, go, and you've got the other side getting the same thing, and suddenly you have a pileup.
Yep. Oh, and like hospitals. Sure, they have generators, but
Yeah.
there's still a lot of electronics in there.
Yep. Lots of ways things to go wrong. So, personally, I mean, even though we're going to work with the primary cast here, because that's just what we had going into this, because we were brainstorming. But personally, I think new characters, new environment is probably better. I don't really want to go back to the gas station. I'd actually like to see this in the big city where there's the most technology is, and then trying to get out.
Because that would be the whole thing. Once you're in the city, you'd want to escape to like some off-grid place as far away as you could.
Yeah.
Like if you were in Calgary, first thing we'd do is try to get to the mountains.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get to where the least amount of technology is. You're not going to escape it in this world now.
Oh, what wouldn't be awesome? We have to have a moment. You know, in every horror movie where they have a moment, ooh, no signal, and they're upset. In this movie, no signal. Yes!
But
It's a good thing.
The first thing I would do is ditch that because that's
true.
got the GPS. Maybe I'd grab my old one because it doesn't
Yeah.
have a GPS in it.
Oh, yeah. My old Nokia. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. We kind of, any hoarding we've done, we should take out the old versions of that.
Yeah. Yeah, use your old technology.
Yeah.
Because it's probably less like to bite you.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that we could do. Oh, we could do so much fun with some retro stuff.
Yeah, and that's just it. We'd have to kind of regress and go back to basics again. And in a way, that might be a good thing for the planet. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, first we got to figure out how to get rid of the ones we got, but we got to not be able to create new ones. And the ultimate goal would be to take this
Yeah.
big AI. Once this AI is propagated everywhere,
Oh, yeah.
then you're kind of screwed. You can't even cut it off at the source because it's
Oh, no.
everywhere.
And also, it's
Once it's out, it's out.
when we're talking about like cars being built and it's all like
Yeah.
robots and stuff doing that, like this machine can figure out probably how to like make more of itself, like more phones, like the electronic. We can't cut off it creating more of itself, like it's replicating.
Yeah, you can't stop it. Just like that nude photo you sent to your ex-girlfriend, it's out there.
It's out there. It's all out there. This is what you be careful with your nude photos. That's okay. That's got to be a moment in this movie where it's just on
an embarrassment
on,
moment.
Yeah, but it's just like on a TV, just a series of dick pics, just a series where they give names of people just for fun. Like the AI is just like, why? Just like, why would you send this so and so blah blah blah? What's this so and so blah blah blah? And just announces whose dick pic it is.
Did you hear that rumor that the Democrats were trying to acquire nude photos of Donald Trump? I'm like, nobody wants that.
No.
Nobody willingly wants that.
Oh God, no.
And I'm sure they're fairly easy to acquire.
Yeah, he looks like somebody who'd send a dick pic at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, that would probably turn him on, the drop of the hat.
Yeah. Well, that and a significant amount of Viagra. But, okay, so
Ew.
back to the Maximum Overdrive.
Well, with that thought, maybe we should hear somebody else's.
Ooh.
So, how about we throw it over to our friends over at Movie Geek and Proud,
For sure.
Bad Reception, Film Flamers, and the Horror Academic podcasts. And we'll come back with some more remake thoughts and our own casting to finish this one out. And thank you again to all of those podcasts for their involvement in All the Horror, which is what this is part of. We are part of the All the Horror movement, a horror convention for your ears.
Yes.
And if you like what they have to say, please go like and subscribe their podcasts. And of course, you could find All the Horror at All the Horror 18 on Twitter and their Facebook feed as well. And it'll tell you all the episodes that are dropping in the month of October. There's a new podcast with podcast guests from participating podcasts in All the Horror, and one or more dropping each day in October, including writings, and I think there's some artwork as well. And of course, it's well over, I think, I can't remember what Sam said, about 40 some odd.
There's a lot.
Podcasts. And there's also t-shirts you can buy that support a charity, Scares That Care. And you can go to TeePublic and just search out
all the horror.
Search out all the horror. And I do believe there's like 6 designs. And again, all those designs, 100% of that goes to the children's charity,
not
Scares That
keeping
Care.
anything. And it's like they're really great designs. And the shirts themselves are also really good. Like I've gotten shirts off of TeePublic and they're lovely.
Yeah. All right, we're going to throw it over to our friends again, Movie Geek and Proud, Bad Reception, Film Flamers, and the Horror Academic, and we will be right back.
Hi everyone, my name is Rob. I'm from the Movie Geek and Proud podcast, and it'll just be me giving this review today. This is the part where Sean would introduce himself, but it seems that Sean from 2 hours into the future needed him for a small task. I don't know, he said something about saving the world and making sure time stayed where it's at and no history got changed, so yeah, you're welcome. And so it'll just be me reviewing the film, and I decided to participate in this All the Horror project for the Invasion of the Remake podcast and give my small review and recast of Maximum Overdrive by Stephen King. So I've never seen this movie before, which is why I chose this over the other opportunity to do Monster Squad. And I am so glad that I got an opportunity to watch this film because I really, really enjoyed it. I could not believe that this movie flopped so bad, or the fact that Stephen King has this reputation of being either a horrible director or any movie that he's in, whether it's a cameo or a bigger part, just flops. I was very surprised with what I saw in this film. I expected something so different, super cheesy, and I got completely the opposite of what I expected. First off, I just want to say that really surprised to see was how bloody and horrific these deaths were. I didn't expect things to be so in your face and be so, just very detailed into the harm and damage that these machines did to the humans. And I gotta say that made the movie a lot more entertaining than what I expected. I expected to just kind of do my own thing, maybe be on my phone, be on the computer doing some stuff while this movie's in the background. No, all of that caught my attention and made me pay attention from start to finish. So I really, really enjoyed the kills. I will say my favorite, where my jaw just dropped from disbelief, I couldn't believe that they had did this, was the baseball game with all the kids, and the coach gets these soda cans right in the face, and you can see this huge dent on this forehead, and it just looks so real, and it was just disgusting. But then it also looked like it even killed a couple of kids, and I was just really surprised that Stephen King did that, so it got my attention. The characters, I will say, I think were a little underdeveloped. The use of the machines I thought was realistic and not as cheesy. I would say that I would give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 Green Goblin trucks. So now on to my recasting. So I am going to start with the leads. We have Emilio Estevez, who played Bill Robinson, the cook who is fresh out of jail and on parole. I casted This Is Us Justin Hartley. He is popping up in more movies, and I really enjoy seeing him on screen, and I think he would do a good job as a lead for once. For the love interest, Brett, played by Laura Harrington, I decided to do it a little bit different and cast another gentleman. And yes, so I've decided that the two leads are going to be gay, played by Jay Hernandez. Now, you know, he's no stranger to horror, so I like to have some familiar horror faces come into play. For the Hendershot role, this is played by Pat Hingle, who I thought was hilarious in this movie because I've never seen him do a part like this before. But I casted Martin Sheen to play the no-good restaurant owner. For Yeardley Smith's role, Connie, she is one half of the newlywed couple who joins the group later on in the film. I casted Lily Reinhardt. So Lily Reinhardt is famous for playing Betty on Riverdale. She was just featured in the movie Hustlers that was released last month, and I think she needs to be in more films. So I casted her for this role. To play her newly wedded husband, I also casted her relationship counterpart from Riverdale, Cole Sprouse, who is going to be Kurt, originally played by John Short. Those two worked so well together on Riverdale. Why not cast them as the newlywed couple? Then we have Ellen McEldoff, who played Wanda June. She was the crazy waitress who just kind of lost it within the middle of the film because of what was happening to her in this movie. I want Lindsay Lohan to be this waitress. I think she would be hilarious and it would fit the part so well. So J.C. Quinn, who plays Duncan, this is the father, who is also, I think, a mechanic in the movie. I casted a familiar Stephen King alum, Andy Bean. So Andy Bean played Stanley, the adult Stanley, in the It franchise that just came out. And we'll jump from him right to his son, originally played by Holter Graham. This is Deke. I casted the younger version of Andy Bean's character, Stanley, and casted Wyatt Olaf. And like father, like son, they look exactly alike. So why not cast the two of them to play father and son? As for the Bible-selling, perverted salesman, Camp Loman, played originally by Christopher Murney, I casted Jonah Hill. I think he would be hilarious in this movie, and I think he would play that skeezy sort of kind of character really well. And last but not least, I did cast the token black guy, originally played by Frankie Faison. This is Handy. And he, I believe, is the owner of the rig with the Green Goblin face on it. I casted Giancarlo Esposito, who actually was in the original, but had a very short-lived part. I think why not bring somebody from the original onto the remake and give him a bigger role. So there you have my dream cast for Maximum Overdrive. And I hope you guys enjoyed my little tidbit on the movie. So back to Invasion of the Remake podcast.
Are you going to do something?
I thought you were going to introduce us.
Hello, I'm Mike.
And I am Morgan.
We are from the Bad Reception Podcast, a podcast about watching bad TV shows and not watching hilariously bad movies.
Whatever this was.
Usually we watch a TV show that we haven't seen and know nothing about, but today it's going to be different because you know what?
It's going to be different.
We've seen this movie before. We've seen this movie a lot of times.
Seen it.
Have you seen it? How many times have you seen this movie?
I mean, probably like 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
I've probably seen this like 10 times.
Oh.
They used to run this on TBS or TNT or whichever one. Like,
ooh, was it only like a half hour long?
No, there's actually not that much bad stuff in this. It's front loaded with a lot of crazy violence, but then it kind of dies down like immediately.
And Stephen King saying the fuck word.
We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about remaking this movie. Listen, obviously this movie has some faults. It is really, really funny and entertaining for all the wrong reasons. It's a definitely so bad it's good movie. So what could we do to make this movie better? Morgan, what's your remake of this movie?
I'm thinking 100 times more violence. At least 300% increase on children getting hit with soda cans. I'd like to see heads exploding next time.
I mean, that one kid's head explodes when it gets run over by a steamroller.
That is true. But I need that maybe in like 4D experience.
Yeah.
I need the rumble seats, and I also need actual like Hollywood level blood spray in my face. I want to experience this child's death.
Okay, you just want to make it more violent. That's all.
I need more violence.
I think that this movie is a good idea. It's like a fun, goofy movie. It has AC/DC as the soundtrack. It's never trying to be scary. It's basically more of an action movie than it is even a horror movie.
Yeah.
And it just is supposed to be goofy and fun about trucks trying to kill people. So
well, Michael, don't be that way. It's not just trucks.
But okay, so that's the problem with the movie, is that it starts off as being like everything that's a machine, everything in the whole world that's a machine turned against humans.
But I'm here to argue, though. Do you think that there's a hierarchy within the mechanical world? Is the 10-wheel or 16-wheel semi...
18-wheeler generally, yeah.
Excuse me. Are they at the top of the food chain and then everyone else is below them and have to listen to their beck and call and their command?
They started off like being like, oh, hey, we can control bridges and we can control electronic knives. And then they were like, oh, what's this? An 18-wheeler truck. And they were like, yes, this is the thing in which we should possess.
Well, no, because I think they had to give the humans, the non-mechanical people, if we will, a wake-up call. So they got to do it through every means necessary.
But they stopped doing it. They really only do the other stuff at the beginning, and then it's like just trucks.
Yeah.
Like they were like, we found trucks and we love them. Like that's our thing. We only do trucks now.
If Stephen King had the foresight to let go and relinquish the directing part of this equation, and like someone like Sam Raimi were to step in, do you think that it would make it inherently a better movie?
Yes, and I think that if we can go back in time and redirect this, the absolute perfect obvious answer is John Carpenter. He's perfect at balancing horror and action and comedy. And then, of course, you could just throw Kurt Russell in there as Emilio Estevez and like make things better.
Emilio, I wouldn't swap you out.
I think I pitched the exact same thing last year when we did the Dreamscape.
Yeah, we get it. We know you love Kurt.
Kurt and John, that's the duo if it was back in the 80s. But what about today? Let's focus on today.
Michael, who's directing this?
I was thinking about it and I was like, it has to be somebody that can absolutely nail action. They can nail horror, but they could still have a lot of fun. And who is that? Who's the modern man who can do all of it and make it a good movie? Edgar Wright.
Oh, yeah.
So you make a super fun, entertaining movie that's action-packed, full of violence, killing people, heads exploding.
Children specifically is what I asked for.
Children getting bombarded with soda cans.
Hard.
They should like triple the soda cans. It's just not enough. It's never enough.
Those aren't soft drinks.
Ayo.
All right, so we got a director locked in. Now we got a big problem here.
What's our big problem?
Our big problem is who's handling the score? Who is our modern day AC/DC?
I honestly thought so hard about this. Like I was trying to find something that would be an equivalent, and I just don't think that there is. First of all, like there aren't big rock bands like there were in the 80s. Like besides Imagine Dragons, name a famous rock band.
I was gonna say Imagine Dragons.
Because that's the only one. That's the only popular rock musicians.
And they're not good. People.
No, they suck, and they would never do the score for Maximum Overdrive. Honestly, I think AC/DC is too specific. I think that even though I like the whole score and soundtrack of it is fun, I think it's too limiting. But I say like, just stick with 70s hard rock, 70s and 80s hard rock. It's the perfect tone for a movie about killer trucks.
Yeah.
Like expand it out. You can put some more, it doesn't have to be just AC/DC, but I think stick with it. What do you think?
Yeah. When you have that over the top headbanging metal.
Yeah.
Or metal light, it gives that's the fun. Yeah. That's where we're aware of what we're doing.
You throw in some Quiet Riot or some Twisted Sister or something, people getting run over by trucks, playing Iron Maiden. What is your dream casting? What's your Sega dream casting?
All right, so here's my dream casting. So the demon semi-truck.
Okay.
I mean...
The Green Goblin.
The Green Goblin has to be Mads Mikkelsen. Got to get him in there.
Just his face?
No, he's playing the truck.
He's like CGI on there? Like,
Michael, hey. I need you to expand your brain. He is the truck. I'm thinking the ice cream truck that kind of just is sinisterly like passing through the neighborhood. This is kind of obvious, but I think Bill Skarsgård has got to come in for that.
Boy, he's getting typecast, isn't he?
Oh, boy. And that lawnmower, though. The lawnmower has a little something extra to it. Something extra that only Idris Elba could bring to us. And then
mow the hell out of some lawns.
Mow the hell out. He was born to mow.
Yeah.
And really, we're first introduced to that ATM. We need somebody who's like at the top right now, establishing like, holy shit, machines are going to kill us, but also like bring a little flair of like a little winky humor to it. So I'm thinking Lizzo would be perfect to play that ATM. Michael, who would you recast?
Emilio Estevez, if we were casting modern day, I think he's cast okay in this. I mean, this is him wanting to do straight face, no comedy. Like, this is grown up Emilio.
Hey, Emilio, why so serious?
But if it was now, I was thinking Wyatt Russell. Let's just bring in.
Oh yeah. I was like,
we already said Kurt Russell would have been perfect back in the day.
we're making Wyatt.
We're gonna shoehorn his son. No, but I think like I was trying to think of like modern action stars that could like lead this thing, and I was like, we don't have any. We don't have any that aren't like 50. Like all of our action stars are like aging out of being action stars, and there's no new ones.
Well, we got Chris.
Chris what? Pratt?
Yeah.
Pine?
Well, I mean, all the Chris's. Evans, let's throw Evans in there.
But that's a totally different kind of action thing.
No,
they're all
let's
superhero
let's
stuff.
try Wyatt Russell. I want to see him explode.
Yeah,
literally, I want to see him explode in this movie.
And I was thinking for the southern guy that runs the gas station, Michael Shannon. Just because I want to see Michael Shannon and just about anything.
For sure.
Anyway, I think that's our time. Thank you so much to Invasion of the Remake for having us on.
Thank you, guys.
This was a blast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Check out our podcast. What's it called again?
That would be Bad Reception with Mike and Morgan.
That's right. You can find us on all the podcast places. We're there. And happy truck running over season.
Oh, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Hey guys, this is Chris and Robert from the Film Flamers.
That's right. We are so glad that you guys asked us to join the podcast today to talk about Maximum Overdrive for all the horror. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and Chris has just watched it recently, so...
That's true.
Like I said, it's one of my favorites. I love this movie quite a bit. I think it's a lot of fun. It's certainly not the best movie ever made, but enjoyable. And as far as like horror movies go, especially horror movies from my youth or from the 80s, I think it's just one that I remember fondly.
So bad, it's good.
That's right. I mean, the acting is so incredibly hammy. I love that waitress coming out holding a bazooka and screaming, "We made you," and things like that. I mean, she just can't understand that these machines are trying to kill her. But I mean, from that to that like Bible salesman screaming from the ditch, like, "Pull me out," and shit like that. I mean, it's just like, it's an iconic Stephen King movie, one that he got to make for himself.
Yeah, the first and last that he directed.
Mm-hmm. And so in the spirit of your podcast, Invasion of the Remake, we have some ideas about a fantasy remake of Maximum Overdrive. I think I would start with that if they were going to remake this movie, I think that Stephen King gets a do-over. I think that he should be able to come in and...
Sans Coke Addiction.
Yeah, and just make the movie again himself.
You know, originally I was going to have the waitress be Parker Posey, but I really think I want her to be Jennifer Love Hewitt, so that when she goes out there and she says, "We made you," I want her to say, "What are you waiting for, huh?"
Oh my God, that's fucking fantastic. "What are you waiting for, huh? We made you." Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So for Emilio Estevez's character, I think we need to have somebody in young Hollywood that's already established a little bit to come in, someone who's like building up their leading man qualities. And the perfect person for me to do this would be Zac Efron.
Oh, wow. I was going to say Liam Hemsworth.
That's also good. I mean, they're both incredibly handsome, right? They have their like suave mentality about them.
I don't know, like the dirty aspect. Well, maybe the kind of dark guy from. Oh, you haven't seen Stranger Things season 2?
No,
I was going to say Stranger Things season 2 and 3. There's like this kind of darker, kind of like older brother guy that's in there, but he's kind of a Zac Efron kind of character.
Oh, really?
That's what made me think of him. But yeah, and then John Goodman as the owner of the gas station.
Yes, that is perfect. I think he is perfect for that particular role. And speaking of Stranger Things, if we're going to recast the kid Deacon for this, I kind of want to see that curly-haired kid from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see him like trying to run away from a killer Coke machine, right? Or like trying to outrun a fucking lawnmower. And I think that the scenes where he's driving or riding his bike through the neighborhood, right? Chris had told me earlier that he wants to see more of that. He wants to see more of the neighborhood violence, and they could totally explore that.
Yeah, like all the inventive stuff with the hair dryers and like the sink disposals and like the lawnmowers and the sprinklers and all that stuff. Yeah.
And not to mention, I mean, like, so this is 29.
Wasn't there a dog with a remote control car?
Yes, the remote control police car like stuck in its mouth, and it's like, and it's dead. I mean, it's like, this movie's so good. It's so good for all the wrong reasons, and it's fantastic. Yeah. I think that in a remake...
We could have drones. Oh my God, so many drones.
Exactly, and that's what I was getting at. I think this remake, we have so much new technology and new things they didn't have in 1987 that, you know, there's so many things they could do with this.
Yeah.
My last piece of casting, I think you need to have that comedic element just a little bit, I think, you know, and if we're going to recast the Newlyweds, I really want to see someone who can handle horror, but also handle horror comedy a little bit. And I think that, Samara Weaver.
Oh, from The Babysitter and,
Ready or Not.
Ready or Not.
I think would be perfect, right? I mean,
sure.
She's got some statuesque beauty, and she's really good at comedic timing, and I think I would love to see her in a role, something like that.
Oh, what's the chick from Legion and...
Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey Plaza.
She would be good, too. Oh, my God, you're right. See? Aubrey Plaza will be good as maybe the love interest, right? Or the main girl. Because she's like sassy and can handle her own, you know, and that's what she's doing on like Hitchhiking to Florida or whatever.
Yeah, or reverse those. Yeah, and have the main chick as the one from The Babysitter and Ready or Not. Yeah.
Almost interchangeable. But I think that's a pretty solid fantasy cast, right?
Yeah.
So we're interested to see what you guys think and how you cast the movie and the other podcasts that you've invited on to talk about this. So thanks for including us in your All the Horror episode.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Sweet dreams.
Horror Academic here on Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. First off, let's talk about that. Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. Usually when you hear Stephen King's Carrie, Stephen King's Christine, Stephen King's It, any of the films before that have had Stephen King in the title, it's because it's based on his work, but it's somebody else interpreting it. So what's strange and different about Maximum Overdrive is that Stephen King is also the director of the movie. You know, it's got his awful reputation as being this cheesy movie, and I've just heard all these things forever about it, and I kind of have these really vague memories of being a kid watching it on television. When I really sat down and watched it, I didn't remember anything about this movie, and it's actually pretty good. I thought it was a lot of fun. Characters were great. The practical effects were amazing. This is pre-CG. There's no computer graphics in this movie. It's all done as practical effects. That's pretty amazing they were even going to pull that off. And I thought they did a pretty good job, especially with the trucks. So every time you see a truck or a car moving and chasing people and doing whatever the crazy havoc that they do, that means there's a stuntman lying on the floor of the car with sticks and mirrors driving it. That's pretty amazing. You have the hero, the Emilio Estevez, he's the cook at this pit stop that everybody's hiding out in because apparently he's got some parole issue and this was the only job he could get. But even in a place with a corrupt boss named Bubba, who's mean to everybody, he's kind of the only guy who's already standing up to him and telling him he's not going to take his crap. So we know he's the hero instantly, right? We also have this girl who comes in who's a hitchhiker. She's introduced in a scene where she's hitchhiking and she's getting a ride from this guy who's kind of sleazy, who's trying to feel her up. And she makes it clear to him, this ain't gonna happen, you can drop me off here, and it's pretty quick. So she's already pretty interesting. The person in the car with her turns out to be a Bible salesman who's already sleazy, but on top of that, he's a shyster character. When they get to the rest stop, we meet the waitress, who's like the only person who has the guts to go out and yell at the machines. That's pretty ballsy. There's, a random selection of guys who are truck drivers and regulars and workers at the pit stop. You get the one kid who is a survivor from a scene we see across town where a baseball team gets attacked by a soda machine. It's a newlywed couple that comes in and ends up at the pit stop too. Cool thing about that is the bride is Yardley Smith. Name might ring a bell, but her voice definitely will. That's the voice of Lisa Simpson. How cool is that? She's like a really good comic relief character, and her husband's kind of the straight man to her, kind of silliness and kind of overbearing, naggy kind of newlywed wife. But it's a fun duo that work together well. Really what it is it's a smaller version of the Birds. Hitchcock's Birds is like the kind of archetype for this storyline of people huddled together trying to survive, usually against nature, but in this case, it's against machines instead of nature. Night of the Living Dead's the same thing. I mean, it's people banding together in a small place to try and survive the night. That's all it is. In some ways scarier because it takes place in broad daylight. I think it's still a pretty effective film in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's silly. It's a silly idea, but it's fun. That's the thing. You have to remember about Maximum Overdrive. Yeah, Stephen King is even in the trailer telling you, I'm making this movie because I figured if I wanted it right, I'll do it myself. Because it's obviously a nod at The Shining and how unhappy he was with that film. But even if he screwed this up, it didn't matter. He was still Stephen King. He was still going to be the biggest author in America. So, no skin off his nose if this movie was great or if it was just something fun that he did. I think we have to look at it like that. It wasn't supposed to be a great movie. It wasn't supposed to be some massive, deep storyline. It's just supposed to be a fun flick. And it succeeds in that. Overall, I say it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect to. So if, like me, you checked out the movie by picking up the Vestron Video Blu-ray, don't forget to check out those extra features. So the special edition is full of these mini documentaries about the making of the film, and they're great because they're done by Red Shirt Productions. I learned a lot about the making of the movie. I learned about the people who worked on it, the town it was made in North Carolina, in Wilmington. Really great special edition. Now, for the fantasy casting, the first person I cast was the Bible salesman, that sleazy con man from the film. I thought that would be a fun role for Bruce Campbell. He could totally pull that off. I mean, look at him in Ash vs. the Evil Dead. He's practically that character already. Now he just has to be Southern. On top of that, I would put as the boss, Bubba. I think John Goodman would be fun for that. He can totally pull off the mean, weird, jerky guy, I think, if he's done well. The kid in the film, okay, let's be honest. If you make a horror film these days, you gotta include any of the kids from Stranger Things. It's kind of like a rule, I think. So, going with that rule, I picked Caleb McCullough. I don't think I've seen him in anything but Stranger Things, and all the other kids I have seen so much lately that I think it's Caleb's turn to get another role. Oh, the driver of the Green Goblin toy truck. Okay, like it or not, I'm a fan of Rob Zombie's films, and I thought this would be a fun opportunity to let Ken Foree reprise his role as the truck driver from Halloween. And you know what? If you don't like Zombies Halloween, fine. I still like Ken Foree because of Dawn of the Dead and From Beyond, so I still want him in here. Next up, we have the comedic couple, the Newlyweds. I really wanted to capitalize on the fact that they were the comedic element in the story, so I thought, let's put two great comedians in there, and I picked Patton Oswalt and Leslie Jones. I thought they would be a great pairing. Yardley Smith's character in the movie is a lot of nagging, a lot of, you're not going to do that, you shouldn't do that, don't do that, are you dead, Leslie Jones could totally pull that off, and I think Patton Oswalt would be a good straight man to her. The waitress, the one who yells at all the trucks, we made you, that one, I thought that would be fun for a nod to horror fans to make that Lisa Wilcox. Now, Lisa Wilcox played Alice in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. Yes, I like those films. And she was cool because she played a waitress. So I thought it would be a fun nod to see her, years later, still a waitress at a pit stop. Last, we have kind of the two leading roles. The cook, Emilio Estevez's part, and the hitchhiker girl, the love interest. I was struggling with this one. Asked my husband for his opinion. He suggested Tom Holland. Probably because we saw Spider-Man recently. If you're going to put Tom Holland in there, then I'm going to say let's just go full-on Spider-Man and pair him with his MJ and put in Zendaya. So they're a little young for the part was my only issue, but can't resist the fact that they have chemistry and they work well together. Those are my picks for the fantasy casting for the Maximum Overdrive remake. Thanks, guys, for letting me put in my 2 cents. Horror Academic out.
All right, and we are back. Thanks again to Movie Geek and Proud, Bad Reception, the Film Flamers, and the Horror Academic podcasts.
Yes.
That's it's always fun to hear somebody else's take on our shtick.
Oh, yes. It's so good. You know, it's nice to have other people come and play.
It is. It is. I'm glad we get to do that in October.
That October is really just a big fun fest where we get to play with all these other podcasts. It's awesome.
Yeah. We've had the sheer joy and opportunity to appear on several of the participating podcasts or produce segments for them. So if you, of course, are a fan of us, please check out all the horror that is dropping in October.
And there's still tons of horror to come.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we are also in the midst of our 31 days of horror. And we're about halfway when you hear this.
Ooh. We're doing our best. We're holding on.
Yeah, so those specials will drop early November.
Yes.
And that's basically us watching 31 horror movies, one for every day that we've never seen before. And then we're going to report back to you on how that whole thing went down. And it is more fun than it sounds. If you actually do this sometimes this fucks with your brain a little bit.
Yeah. You begin to wonder if you're broken in some way.
Yeah, sometimes you do. But once you've done it a few times, now this will be your fourth year.
Yes.
I'm somewhere in the double digits.
I'm
way above. And it's a case of finding a balance. You can't go dark all the time. You got to mix it up with some horror comedies and things like that. And then if things flow a little bit better. The first time I did it was like about midway. It was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But then you find your second wind.
You find your second wind, and like you say, mix it up with all. What's great about horror is like there is a whole mixture of a bunch of other stuff. There's horror comedies, there's horror musicals, there's anthologies. There's so much you can do that's different. Like there's
domestic
something
and foreign, and
there's something that'll scratch that itch.
Yeah, so I'm trying to mix it up as much as possible, that mixed bag, and have a little bit of everything this year. So and hopefully I can keep that balance and not power down midway. I haven't had that midway. In a while, so I think we'll be okay. Yes. All right, back to Maximum Overdrive. Yes. Now, I think for us, for our version of the remake, we do the Stephen King thing that Stephen King didn't do in this movie, which is something he usually does, is we get into the character.
Yes.
We really need to know who these people are, and inevitably when there's a formula that he does. I mean, this is very similar to things we've talked about, like The Mist and most recently in The Tall Grass.
Yeah.
But the situation, yes, these people are put in jeopardy of this very crazy situation, but it also gives an opportunity to see these dark secrets, or lack thereof, and the personalities of the characters involved, and that is something that is completely missing in this film.
Yeah, and there's always a religious character.
Usually.
Where something very dark happens, and we have the Bible salesman, but he kind of turfs pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I want to get into
Although
him
I like
more.
I almost think Stephen King does not like those type of characters. He doesn't never treats them very well.
Oh, he never does, but he's got to be
able to... He backed a
able
truck into this guy. He goes flying, and then about, half an hour later, he's screaming in pain. Yeah. He's not dead.
Oh, no. I know he treats them very badly, but like I want it to be more satisfying when he dies.
Well, and then the kid comes and actually finds him as somebody's trying to rescue him, and he's threatened to kill the kid if he doesn't help him.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fucking die there, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Start kicking at his hand.
I'm like,
kid.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Are you going to chase me? Go ahead, dude.
Yeah. I kind of like Emilio Estevez's character. Here's this ex-con on a path of redemption.
And I wanted to lean into that. You got nothing from that.
I'm like, at least we had something there, and I think we can stick with that. At least there's something we can work with there, and maybe figure out what he was in for and what that dark past was that he's trying to make up for.
I want him to be in for hacking.
Well, I think it should be a not just an embarrassing thing, but an accident, a tragedy. Maybe he was gone to jail for manslaughter, but for good reason. Like he's defending his wife, or somebody he cared for died, and he went a little crazy in her defense.
Well, yeah, I don't think we have to. This is another thing. I don't think we have to kill another character for him to tragically. have to go to jail. I think it could be something where he was. It's a hard economy. I want it to be something where he was just trying to get by.
Yeah.
And the tragedy of all tragedies, which is what happens a lot of the time, is the poor just go to jail because of shit.
I want to expand a little bit on Bubba, but at least we get a sense of him as well. He's an employer who's exploiting ex-cons. And this threat of sending them back because they're on parole so he can exploit their working. So
for free labor.
For free labor, absolutely. But he's also one of these survivalist dudes. He's got this pack of weapons and packed away and stuff. So I kind of want to work on that a little bit more and expound on this survivalist who's preparing for the downfall of America, but is like one of those hard right guys.
Oh, yeah. And I could see him being like, I know we're putting this in a city, so I still want it to be like a diner in the city where he's doing this.
We could still have like some characters outside the city as some of our characters are trying to make their way out. But yeah, I think I want to keep it in the city as well, which, survivalist in the city makes a little less sense. But at the same time,
actually it doesn't.
He's a lot scarier having that kind of cachet in the city.
Well, actually it doesn't make less sense. Like the level of crazy that is a survivalist doesn't just come out of the rural areas. These people do exist in the city because they're conspiracy theorists. They think all shit is going downhill. Like, I mean, they're like, I'm going to be prepared for when stuff goes down.
Yeah. Well, and inevitably, especially in the big city, you're going to have pockets of people. You're going to have the people who exploit the weak, like usual, and you're also going to have the people who try to support each other.
Yeah.
And that'll be interesting to see how that works, because it's not just the technologies that you're at enemy, but also each other.
That's the whole thing. Like, the people are fighting not just technology. It's always going to be each other as well.
Yeah. So I kind of like that version of the character as well. Brett, I had some dark thoughts about.
Oh, my.
Because she's already hitchhiking her way to Florida, and she was really quick to roll into the sack with Emilio Estevez in this movie.
Yeah, but also that's a very movie-ish trope. As soon as stuff goes down, you're just fucking the main guy. I don't get it.
Let's go have sex, because it might be the last time I have it.
Pretty much.
And really, other than she is just a female character, she's kind of pointless.
Yeah, there's nothing that happens with her. Like, there should be more.
You know what? I still want to keep the hitchhiking aspect, and she's a fucking serial killer.
Ooh.
She is dark as dark can get.
I like that idea. She lets people pick her up.
And she is listening to people and exploiting their secrets and exploiting their weaknesses to get what she wants so she can survive. Now, the world's changed. She's got to prey on things a little differently, but she's going to be pretty quick with the knife or whatever weapon if you're getting in her way and getting what she wants.
Ooh.
She's cold and emotionless.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
It's a horror movie. Let's throw some shit in there. It is a horror movie.
Let's throw some shit in there. For a redemptive character, though, I'm going to float this there, because as soon as we mention like all the electronics going bad, and it is going to be in a city, I want at least one of them to like be a doctor or an intern at a hospital who's dealing with all this stuff going crazy, and they're just trying to save some lives, and they are fucking failing.
That could be Connie. Like, I don't have a character for. Well, initially when I was thinking about it, because I'm trying to think of secrets, and with Connie, if we change that entirely, that would be great. Or we can add a different character. Because initially, when I was thinking of Connie being a newlywed, I had two thoughts. One, a little more standard newlywed, but a mixed marriage. And once you come up against this probably racist survivalist, that could be a little...
That's definitely some tension. I had sort of that.
I had also a second thought is really young wife, old husband, if you get what I'm talking about.
Yes, creepy.
Creepy.
Almost went there, too. Actually, that's weird.
Creepy sugar daddy situation.
Yep. Yeah.
But you could still make her a nurse and have her maybe redeem some of the darker aspects of her character.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
I maybe we'll stick with the mixed marriage thing.
It's the mixed marriage thing, but I also can...
Because she does nothing.
It can also be like a new character, like, overall.
Oh, sure, yeah. Ultimately, I mean, we're working within the structure of the film, but ultimately, sometimes remakes just have new characters.
Absolutely.
And I think that's probably would better serve this movie.
Yes, I think so. Because, like, that's the whole thing. Like, the Connie... The newlywed storyline, that was troublesome. I didn't quite... It was there, and it was just like she was just screaming the whole time and being... Like, she was really annoying.
I actually like the idea of a nice... like a family unit situation. So I was actually, in my mind, I was going to... I was leaning more towards the mixed marriage...
Yeah.
The wife already has a child, and that's the child that would have been, what was his name? Adik.
Yeah.
In this movie, who was, I don't remember the character. There's so many, but he was the character of one of the guys, the sons of one of the characters at the diner.
Yeah, Deke, his dad had the gasoline in his eyes, and he was coming from his baseball game.
Yeah, so I was thinking about Deke actually being the son of Connie in this marriage that is fairly fresh, and maybe that's where we can have some character situations where here's this new man coming into his life, and he's got a little resentment of this person that's replacing his father.
Exactly,
and I think that's a more
very rich thing.
Relatable place.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like, you've got blended families all the time.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's already stress there. So to add the stress of this situation, there's so much more you could do with that.
And then that's the thing. Everything gets voiced out in these moments of stress, and then suddenly all these problems come blurting out. And that's where we can actually see the family unit, that tension maybe going away as this father who really wants to be this kid's father, not replace them, but be the new man in his life, that he does care for this kid and wants to protect him. And along the way, the kid's going to realize that as well.
Yeah, the kid's going to realize that, but he's also going to realize, like, I've got to make an effort as well in this relationship.
And that's the thing. Kids are single-minded, and you need to do something profound to change their minds.
Because he's like my mom's happy, this guy makes her happy. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah. So that's where we have the light in the darkness. It's going to be within this center of this family. And Kurt is a heroic character in this film, despite Connie trying to pull him out of situations.
Yeah. As annoying as they've put Connie on the page, it's funny how I can get where she's getting at. She's like I do not want to be a widow on my wedding day. That's a great line. And it would be like, yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got married. You're not ready to be widowed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got Connie and Kurt and Deke all figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, here's the guy who owns the Green Goblin truck.
Yes.
Here's a character I liked right away, but then didn't do anything.
I know. What was up with that?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, wait, we're going to see what happens here. Because I haven't seen this in years, and I forgot a lot of this movie. But, yeah, he doesn't.
Like, when I think about, like, the two take charge characters, it should be Handy and of course, Bill Robinson, Emilio Estevez's character. And Handy just kind of goes away. He provides the truck, and that's it.
Yep.
That's a shame. You know, and here's this guy who works for a toy manufacturer. I think the image of the Green Goblin, well, I mean, licensing problems out of the aside, I doubt they'd probably get the usage of that again, to be honest, from Disney.
And I don't... It's
or
so...
Sony, for that matter. Sony would have the theatrical rights at this point.
Well, and then I probably think you could inadvertently get sued by the makers of cars because it's a visual on a vehicle.
Yeah. But I still like that demonic face, smiling face, and that could be something that pops up on the phones, on technology, on screens, as this kind of disturbing visual of this energy that is possessing the technology and doing it in a different way.
Yeah, like just have it sort of pervasive, but not this big plastic face on a truck.
Yeah.
Like it could show up when you're in the vehicle. You know how they have like the backup cameras? It's showing up on those screens that are in all vehicles. And also, the kids get a lovely visual of like death and destruction in the back of their van with their VCR player that they all have in places now. Yeah, there's definitely got to be a minivan thing where kids are screaming.
Yeah, so I think that digital visual of this smiling thing in the screens might replace the big, ridiculous truck.
Yeah, because I didn't get it. When the eyes lit up on it, I was like, oh, just no.
Yeah, it just comes off a bit cheesy, but I still like the visual, so I wanted to insert it somewhere. I think that's a good way to do it.
Absolutely. I totally get it.
Granted, now we don't have a lot of character for Handy here yet.
No.
But he could be one of these guys who's got a survivor's instinct, and I could see maybe these two alpha males maybe coming at odds, both having the right thoughts and saving people, alternative thoughts, and maybe coming into conflict. Well, actually, technically, you'll have three, because then you're going to have your survivalist with Hendershot, who's still trying to exploit everybody.
Yeah.
He could be one of the other exploited employees, another ex-con in this place.
He could be another ex-con in the place as well. I know. I kind of also like the idea. I was thinking about him like he's a truck driver. He's alone. He's on the road a lot. I want to kind of maybe dig into the fact like he's chosen to isolate himself from society as a whole, just by being a trucker, not interacting with people.
Yeah.
And so this whole
People
thing
aren't
where
his jam.
people aren't his jam,
Yeah.
and having to be around this people like for survival is very tough for him.
Oh, you know what? I can see him and Brett gravitating towards each other with these solitary lives, but one who's just chosen not to associate with people too much. Like, he gets along with them just fine.
He gets along with them. He's
friendly.
He's so disappointed by humanity.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to participate.
Yeah, and then you've got this other one who's exploiting and murdering them. And that would be great to see these two kind of starting to come together, and she's just faking romantic.
Yeah.
She's not coming on to our other lead man, Robinson.
no.
Maybe he's the one who sees it.
Yeah. And
Something's
the other
off
thing,
with
too,
her.
I think maybe the guy who's isolated sort of figures it out. He's like, no. Like, he's seen too much bullshit. So she can't fool him because he's not used to a lot of human contact. So he's like, no, this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
He's not naive. He's the least naive because he's seen too much.
Yeah. And Wanda June should be some young waitress. You know, this is the
job she could get.
This is a job she could get, you know, post-college. She's got a degree, but this is fucking ridiculous because she can't get a job in her, like most people go to college and then can't do what they want to do.
Ooh, but we can use that too, because you know how I was talking before, like they can't Google anything, but she's got this education that does come in handy in certain respects, because you're like, well, oh no, I remember what that is, because like she's been memorizing and learning shit.
Know, here's this waitress and she starts spouting off all this knowledge, and everybody just like looking at her. What is with her?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love her character already.
Yay.
She would add some great light moments to the movie as she just like, okay, what else do you know?
And we can do a nod to like going, yeah, we made you, but I can unfucking make you. And she like she's messing with the charging system so that it doesn't charge anything.
Yeah, maybe she was an engineer and minored in psychology or something.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
There you go. Yay.
Yeah, okay, Duncan was the dad. That was Zeke's dad. I guess I've ditched him now. Oh, no, Duncan was the salesman.
Duncan was, the Bible salesman.
Yeah. So, don't think we need him anymore.
No.
But, I mean, we could have that.
You know what?
Obnoxious character.
I want him to be the obnoxious character, but he's best friends with Survivalist guy.
Oh, there you go.
You had these two old dudes who are like, yeah, but like everything was so much better when like we were in charge.
Yeah, I didn't like his like kind of the fat, slow, dumb guy that was kind of there.
Yeah.
So I kind of eliminated him. I didn't even put in my casting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like if you're gonna have Survivalist guy who runs the diner, we'll have him as like another one of his survivalist buddies, because that's the whole funny thing about survivalists is they say they could go and survive on their own out in the woods, but they tend to form friendships that are very close. It's very odd. They don't want to be without other people.
Yeah, I think with these guys it starts at the diner, but it doesn't. We don't stay there very long. Like, they need to get out of the city, and that's where this adventure really gets going.
Yeah.
And they can come across other people along the way, and as some of their band gets bigger and then shrinks again, because we've got to have the technology killing people, but we've also got to have that subversion within the group, especially with Brett.
Yep.
Oh, I like
absolutely.
Her secrets.
Oh, it's all going to be so good.
And it's secrets and secrets being revealed, and that's what Stephen King does so well. I'm sorry that cocaine Stephen King forgot how to be Stephen King.
I know, because like when you read his books, he digs deep into the psychosis of everything that's driving people crazy. He tells you about.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe this was always meant to be a nod to Romero, like technology run amok, but now we've got a bigger commentary on our reliance of it and how much it affects what's happening with people. It bugged me in the movie when they're escaping. Here's this guy with this fucking armory, and all they ever use is the goddamn bazooka, and then they leave and take nothing with them.
Yes, they took some machine guns, and I'm like, those are ineffective. take the bazooka and the rocket launcher and use
Grenades.
that. The grenades have proven much more effective than a machine gun. That bothered me most. But also, what was in that ice cream truck? It exploded like nothing I've ever seen before.
We should be very concerned what's in our ice cream.
We really should. The ice cream truck has like C4 ice cream. I don't know what's in there.
I do like the visual of the ice cream truck going down the street still with the tune, but now it's just creepier without the driver. And it's kind of your clown moment, or with the red balloon, that's this movie's version of that. So I kind of like that, just being there and still enticing people out. That's what it's doing. That was always the vehicle's intention. Even when it had a driver, it was to entice children out of their homes to sell them junk food.
This sounds really dark, but I want something on the ice cream truck to indicate it ran over a child at some point.
The movie does at points have things like that, where you won't see the violence, but you'll see the results of the violence. And we do see that from time to time within the film. And I kind of dig that. There was a real accident that happened on this set, though.
I remember this one, yes.
The remote-controlled lawnmower.
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't so much the lawnmower as the fact that they left the blades in when they didn't need to.
Yeah. Oops. And so it wound up chomping up a real piece of wood. And that real piece of wood, all those little splinters went flying, and the splinter went flying in the DOP's eye, and he lost his eye.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, and of course there was a lawsuit, and it settled, but he was sued for like $18 million, whatever.
Well, he's a director of photography. What does he need most? His eyes.
Yeah.
Of all of the things, if his hand had been taken off, probably not that much. But he's a DOP, man. He needs those eyes.
That's a bad one.
The worst thing.
Yeah, I guess there was a scene where, like, this big beam, the size of a telephone pole, was meant to flip end over end, and it only flipped once and then slid. And the dolly operator, it was sliding right towards the camera, and the dolly operator pulled him away at the last second. So this was not the safest set to be on.
No. Well, any cocaine fuel set, I don't believe is the safest set to be on.
Well, I mean, that is also the assistant director's part of his job, is to make sure that set is really safe as well.
It is, but yeah, I don't know. If you have a cocaine-fueled Stephen King, how much control do you have?
True. Maybe that's why he wants to say that he did all the directing. He doesn't want Romero to get in trouble. But
there you go, yeah.
It's not an issue anymore.
I do that for a buddy.
I would too. I'll take that heat.
Absolutely. Especially
Stephen King's taken his share, and he's come out okay.
He's a tough guy. He's been through like a fuck ton of shit.
Yeah. It's funny, the date in this movie, I don't remember the exact date. It was the 19th of...
June 19th?
Yeah, it was June 19th of that year. And
86?
When the comet tail hits. What day did he get hit by a vehicle?
June 19th?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
I mean, many years later.
I know, but still.
19 comes up a lot in his movies, too, but it's somewhat prescient that a vehicle...
I know.
hit Stephen King.
A whole Maximum Overdrive thing.
Yeah.
And then he was on OxyContin and we got Dreamcatcher. Oh. Another mistake.
I still like that movie.
Oh, see, I didn't like it, but I also read the book.
Well, you don't like the ass weasels?
Oh no, I love the book. I will say the book has one thing that I still to this day believe is like the best writing, because it made me viscerally sick, because I could totally get it.
Yeah.
The sound of tearing meat is a phrase that is in that book. And it was probably the best way it could have been described in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But the end of the book is just... It made me so mad I threw it against a wall. It doesn't happen often with books, but if I'm mad at a book, I will throw it.
Okay, well, I think we got a structure.
I think we do. You know what? I think this is like Purge level type of idea where it could be expanded upon even beyond this one movie.
Well, that was also why I didn't want us to win. There's no happy ending. You're just escaping the moment and hopefully trying to find a place where you can just hide out away from technology, and that is still kind of the goal. The end goal, there really is, the only way you can do is escape it, because you don't know if there's going to be an end to it.
Yep.
And I don't want there to be an end to it. You don't win. There's no happy ending here.
No.
This is the new normal, and you got to get away from it.
Yeah, and then like you could expand on it where like the technology itself is figuring out what it can build to get into the hard to get places, like things that can climb stairs, climb mountains.
Yeah. And I mean, you think about it, if it gets access to experimental technologies that are out there. There are micro technologies where, drones the size of mosquitoes that look like mosquitoes.
Yes.
And there's
nanotechnology.
Self-replicating nanotechnology. So the things it can do, it's
in
terrifying.
Labs making bioweapons.
So, once it's chased out and kills most of the humans within because we cluster. We go into the big cities or even townships or whatever. So once you've eliminated that, it's just the few of the antisocial people left and the ones that are smart enough to flee to the mountains and other regions that have a lot less technology.
But even then, we'll cluster into villages because that's how you survive.
Yeah, but they'll probably at least cluster into places that are a lot less hospitable to technology. Unfortunately, man as well, really hot and humid areas where things will rust and rot, and really cold technologies areas where technology doesn't function very well.
No. Oh, yeah, because it's been minus 40 here, and my phone has died in 10 minutes.
Oh, it doesn't even have to get that cold for my phone to do that.
Oh. So, yeah, no, mine's in minus 40, and I try to listen to my tunes on the way to work, and it dies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it just can't function at that temperature.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot here, and I think you're right when it has to be the commentary on our reliance and how that has come about.
And that's where the fun lies in this movie, and then the character. We don't watch Walking Dead for the zombies. I mean, yeah, we do, but zombies are inherently boring.
Yeah.
So what's driving us?
They're just the environment that you're in.
It's the attachment to those characters. And ultimately that is the failing of the original film, is we're not attached to anybody. I mean, Emilio Estevez is kind of naturally likable.
Yeah.
So that's kind of keeps you going. But it's not because he's given us anything to be likable about. There's a couple of good moments where he's just, you can tell he's a good guy, and that's about it.
Absolutely. And there's the bit where the guy who came in with the truck, I can't remember his name again, who we wanted more from.
Yeah, Handy.
He's an inherently likable character, and I was expecting more from him, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, Frankie Faison. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to expand on him as well.
There's so much there that they set up and just didn't do it with. But even with Romero's Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead, even Night of the Living Dead, I got a sense of the characters in this house. So there was more there than even in this movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you don't even have basic character tropes here.
No. Just tons of truckers that are cause for fodder.
Yeah. I mean, there are some good moments where the trucks are circling and they're running out of gas. Maybe not circle them.
Exactly. I'm like, when they ran out of gas, I'm like, but it's your fault.
But it's your fault.
What's up with that? And while you're at it, why not radio the trucks that have the fuel? Because you didn't do that at the beginning. You should have.
Yeah, these aliens are also dumb.
Yes. They don't get it.
Yeah, I liked how they were just slave driving the humans and this endless run of trucks coming in and out. And they don't realize that humans aren't endless. They do need to recharge.
Yeah. Well, they don't care about that. That's the whole point.
They don't.
They want to get rid of the humans. So this is kind of a good way to do it. They get fed and get rid of the humans.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They gotta create more of the robots that can pump gas.
Right?
But eventually it would develop it so they don't need the reliance on fossil fuels. But that's where I like the idea of
the whole thing.
The goddamn hybrids.
The goddamn hybrids, you need the electronic cars, but you also need to make sure that the electricity producing turbines and stations that do all that stuff are also well taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. I could just say, you could clip back to Donald Trump going, the windmills are murder machines.
Yeah. Windmills are murder machines, and they really would be.
Yes, the windmills are giving us cancer. Oh, I go, okay, maybe not, but...
But they're fueling these electric cars that are going to kill all of us.
So it'd be funny to go back to oh my God, Donald Trump was
solar panels. There's like,
oh no,
damn this green energy.
This really is a horror comedy. All right, I think we are ready for some casting.
I didn't do very much in the way of casting.
All right, well, give us the basics. Mine actually started flowing a lot faster than I thought it would because I had nothing in the beginning. I finished the movie. I'm like, no, I've got no ideas.
I know. Like, I only cast 5 people because I was like, there's too many people, and I just got irritated.
Yeah, I was only going to stick with the main cast, but then it kind of kept going as more ideas popping up. So
that's a great thing. But yeah, I started with my bill is Michael Garza, and he's currently in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh,
and
I really
then,
want to see that.
Oh God, was it Hendershot?
Bubba.
I went a weird way. David Duchovny.
Ooh,
I want to see him play evil.
Yeah, once I figured out the character archetypes I wanted to work with, then it got a lot easier.
True. Yeah, it was sort of hard. Brett, I went with Andrea Bang from Kim's Convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Connie, Isabel Gomez from One Day at a Time. And for Kurt, I went with Bo Burnham. So he's a little bit older, but it's not creepy.
Okay. Well, we did discuss the possibility of going that way, but we ultimately decided not to.
I literally couldn't do it. I tried. I'm like, it made me feel gross to even try.
I did cast him twice, depending on which way we went. So I do have 2 choices for him. Did you have an idea for director?
I hadn't.
Yeah,
I was so struggling with this.
I didn't either, but
I'm wondering.
I would think like
who does good horror comedy?
Yeah, that's just there's lots of guys that do good horror comedy. I honestly think like an Edgar Wright would do fine with this, but I could also see the Blumhouse guys doing well with this.
Yeah.
You know what? Get Out, Us.
Yes.
He would balance that really
Jordan Peele.
well. Jordan Peele would balance that really well.
And Jordan Peele knows how to kind of get into characters. Like, he knows motivation. Like, he would give enough time for these characters to breathe, I think.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes.
And he would not saying a white director wouldn't give good time to black cast, but I want to have bigger multicultural cast here as well.
Exactly.
Okay, for my Bill Robinson, I went because I was still thinking the South. I like the idea of maybe, our big city could be Dallas or Fort Worth.
Nice.
So still have that Southern Texas feel.
Because you want hot, too. That's also
true. And I like Lucas Black. Tokyo Drift, and
I could see him in this movie.
Yeah, and I can totally see him being a good lead, a good replacement for Emilio Estevez. I do find him quite likable, and the handsome lead.
Yeah, and like I can see
still
him
young.
going. Yeah, he's young enough. He's gone to jail. He's made some mistakes.
Yeah, so I think that's all good there. For the slightly racist survivalist,
nice.
I didn't go with somebody who's that older, chunkier Pat Hingle, who feels like a villain out of. He feels like he's out of Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Yep.
So I went with Bill Moseley instead.
Ooh.
And he has more of that grungy feel to him when you see things like House of a Thousand Corpses and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and 3 from Hell most recently. So you can buy that from him, and I like that he's still of an older age now and still comes off creepy.
I wanted to go older, but not too old. I think was a thing.
No, so I think that's great. For Brett, this is a throwback to Sam and I's favorite TV show from last year, Blood Drive, and she can currently see her on Animal Kingdom, Christia Ochoa.
Nice.
And of course, we've made her a serial killer and this sexy serial killer as well.
There we go.
So she can just attract them in. It makes it really easy
and that works.
Yeah,
that really works.
And she can do intensity based on that show. For Connie, I went for Connie and Kurt. Because it was Yardley Smith originally, I still kind of wanted people who do voice acting.
Ooh, okay.
So I kind of stuck with that.
Nice.
So I made them both voice actors, but they do live acting as well. I went with Kaylee Cuoco.
Kaylee Cuoco?
Thank you. From Big Bang Theory. She plays Penny,
Nice.
but she's also Harley Quinn in
I didn't
Batman
know that.
and the Harley Quinn. And the upcoming Harley Quinn animated series, she's going to be Harley Quinn.
Oh, cool. I did not know that. That's cool.
So there you go. She's not as experienced in the voice acting, but she's certainly getting into it, and Harley Quinn's a pretty big role.
Yeah.
Initially, when I wanted the older character for if she was catfishing, I went with Bradley Whitford from Cabin in the Woods.
Oh my God, yes.
Which would have been great, the comedy there.
Oh, yeah.
But for the mixed couple that we wound up doing, I went with Keston John, who's in the next bazillion Avatar movies as a voice of one of the blue people.
Sweet.
And he's also in The Good Place and in The Dark. He's done lots of voice work on video games and stuff as well.
Cool. What is he on The Good Place?
I don't watch it, and
I love
don't
that
write
show.
down the name of the shows they're on. So I don't know the character.
I'll take a look and find out.
You do your own damn research.
Okay. Well, you wrote
Calm
down.
down,
You wrote down The Good Place.
I didn't know I was going to be quizzed.
You quizzed me on who's been in our previous episodes. This is my quiz.
I just see if you know.
I do not. I think we know that.
For Deke, the kid, I went with Will Bowie Jr., who was recently in The Tall Grass.
Oh, yes. Very good. He's
Stephen
very
King,
good.
Joe Hill movie on Netflix that just premiered.
Nice. And he's very good in that.
It's like a couple weeks old by the time you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
For Handy, I wanted him to be likable, kind of jokey. And like I said, I wanted to up his character a little bit.
Yeah.
I went with Orlando Jones.
Oh, I love Orlando Jones.
Yeah, if you don't know who he is, go check out Evolution. It's
American Gods.
American Gods. He's really good in that as well. He's always fun to watch. So, Orlando Jones.
He was in one of our previous episodes we did with Bedazzled. He was one of the crew people.
Yeah. For Wanda June, I went with Allison Williams from Get Out.
Nice.
Yeah. And Duncan, initially he's the salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I went with TJ Miller. Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he dies horribly.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, that'll work.
Yeah.
So that was my casting.
That's what happened in Transformers.
Yeah.
He goes out. I've not seen that one. I just know that he dies really quickly.
The only Transformers worth watching is Bumblebee.
Or just the original cartoon.
Absolutely. I will throw back to that. That's for sure. Love that show.
That's very good. And with our new director, Allison Williams from Get Out. Awesome.
Perfect. She's gotten in already. Honestly, with the casting, the only requirement is I had to envision her saying the line, "We made you."
Oh, yeah.
If I couldn't hear it, then you couldn't get the role. When I was looking at people for that role, I'm like, yep. Because it is so it is so gonzo. It's like, this is amazing.
You have to
mind
imagine somebody
broken.
losing it.
And,
she was so good.
And I like the idea, here's this waitress. We've made her super smart.
Yeah. I love it.
And also have a psychological break.
Absolutely. Well, as you would. You can be smart and go crazy in this situation. Everybody's dying. Of course you're going to lose
the world suddenly is challenging all her theologies.
Yeah. Oh, the world itself is suddenly going... You know when you used to be paranoid thinking that the world was out to get you? Mm-hmm. It literally is right now. I mean, your paranoia is now true. You wish you could go back to the time where it was just a thought.
Ultimately, that's actually kind of relaxing, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I was right.
I know how to deal with this.
Now everything's out to get me, and I'm used to that.
Exactly. See, that's the worst part. Like, the world psychologically and emotionally out to get you. I don't know how to deal with that. With things trying to kill me, I can clomb onto that. That's something I can grasp as a thing.
Exactly.
I know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Which is why this crazy serial killer is really good, because that would totally scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. But we have to have a scene in there where there's a room full of podcasters from a show called Invasion of the Remake, and they get killed by their own mics.
Oh, yes, for sure. Because we've come up with this.
Yeah. It's your fault.
It's your fault. You did this. Oh, no. Yeah, and like our headphones just bleeding out of those. Gotta love it. Yeah, no, this movie had potential. There was an idea there. It just wasn't...
Yeah, it's certainly wasn't well thought out. I think it's shot okay.
Yeah, visually it looks fine.
It's basic shots. There's nothing horrible, but it's at least looks professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like the one, I was thinking about this too. There's one shot I really kind of enjoyed where it's when they're told to fill up the trucks, and you've got two big trucks side by side on the double highway, and then it sort of pans up a bit and you see it kind of go off into the distance of just truck after truck after truck. Even though I know that sort of there's a bit of a trick where they didn't go high enough where you could see where it ended.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It was very effective, and I thought the same thing about that shot. I really liked it. We can have, instead of the baseball thing with the kids there, we can have, like, maybe it doesn't work as much because the U.S. doesn't have Toys R Us anymore, but we do.
Ooh, we do.
We do have in Canada, but like a toy store just going nuts. Since that truck was from a toy store chain,
do.
So that would be a good nod to that, and it would be great. I mean, you can seed it with toys that have come to life in other movies if you're paying attention. As these little Easter eggs, if you're
nice.
catching it just in the corner there. Chucky might have been there, and the Annabelle might have been on the shelf in the girls section.
Oh, what we need to do is what I try to do every time I see them is when you have Tickle Me Elmos, and it's really hard to do. You need a buddy to help you with this, but if you see this, and okay, I'm just recommending it. It's a very fun prank, and it's just very fine. Get them all going at the same time, and it's just a pile of it's creepy and funny.
We did that at Zellers once.
It's so good. It's just this vibrating mound.
We were just saying, what's it going to take to get kicked out of Zellers? Apparently nothing is you can do. Won't get you kicked out of Zellers. That's probably why they're gone.
Zellers, okay, just for the, it was our people of Walmart.
Yeah.
If we're honest.
Yeah.
That was Zellers.
Yeah.
It was Canadian Walmart.
All right. Well, I think we did it. I think we got it.
That's really good. I love the idea, like fighting your way out. And you know what? And I'm glad that what we do here in our remake series is we're not afraid to go dark. Like the ending, there is no winner. And that's exactly what we have.
That's the thing. You gotta, if you can balance that light and dark, and I like a dour ending. I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to make it. And that's okay.
That's just what happens.
Exactly. And then you can go and tell another tale of somebody else somewhere else trying to survive this nonsense.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'd like to see the idea of them getting a little farther each time, just like a video game version, where like the next movie they actually get out into the country, but then they don't survive there, because then there's farm equipment. You could go a lot of places with that.
Yeah, you just change the situation and the people that are involved and the personalities. It's going to change the story.
Absolutely.
And there's possibility of an anthology series there as well.
Oh, and you can go to other countries too.
Yeah.
Like, when I was away in Fiji and like we were stuck on the island and the Wi-Fi was in and out and in and out and in and out. Like they could be pretty safe there.
Yeah. So there you go.
Absolutely.
But even the sharks are tagged now.
Not many of them. But yeah, like you're safer in there with the sharks.
That's true. Okay, well, that was Maximum Overdrive from 1986. I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
Please like, share, and subscribe. All the participating podcasts in the show, Movie Geek and Proud, Bad Reception, The Film Flamers, and The Horror Academic. Thank you again for your involvement on our show. And don't forget to subscribe to @AllTheHorror18 on Twitter to follow all the podcasts, including those that are participating in All the Horror and that horror convention for your ears. So don't miss out on a single episode that is happening this month. It's a lot of podcasts to digest, but you don't have to do it in 31 days. You can just make sure you give them a listen and stay in that horror mood for a little bit longer.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, what you might find by doing all the horror is you might find a new favorite that you hadn't heard of before.
Hopefully we'll be among those favorites. And of course, remember to like, share, and subscribe our podcast. We're on a ton of different places. Follow us on our social media @Invasion Remake on Twitter, Invasion the Remake on Facebook and Instagram, and Invasion the Remake @gmail.com. If you want to email us and just send us a message or two and send requests. We do take fan challenges. If we dig your idea, we will incorporate it and make it into an episode for the show.
Absolutely.
And make sure you tell your friends where to find us. We are a ton of different places. You can find us on our social media through the link tree or Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, Blueberry, Libsyn, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, the app. and frickin' YouTube. So no excuses. We are everywhere. So tell your friends where to find us. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review over on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, please.
It'll help people get their
earballs
on the show.
Get us into Maximum Overdrive as a podcast.
Yeah. And of course, we've got a couple more episodes within all the horror coming your way. We got a comparison next week and another remake with guests the week after that.
Yep.
And I think right after that, we will start dropping our 31 Days of Horror specials at you. Yes, we are crazy enough to watch. Among the stuff we already have to watch for our podcast, we're going to do 31 more horror movies that we have never seen before. And we're going to tell you all about them in a couple of specials at the beginning of November.
Absolutely.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Cannot stop.
Those are some of my favorite episodes to do. I mean, because it's a bit of a break from what we get to normally do. And it's kind of fun to, I don't have to rethink that. And, I can just talk about something I saw. And that's kind of fun.
Yeah. And something that I just wouldn't normally get my hands on. And
that's just it. We want to bring to light some of these other great horror movies or not so great horror movies. We'll give you an honest review and we'll tell you whether this is worth your time or not. We'll try not to be too spoilery, but we'll try to at least make it enticing enough to see if we think you should watch it or not.
Yeah.
But give us a listen, and we've got 3 of those in the archives already. So if you can't wait for it, check out some of our older 31 Days of Horror episodes. And of course, we got lots of episodes of horror movies we've done, ones that have never been remade before and ones that have. So if you like horror movies, dive into our library. We've got quite a bit of horror within our lexicon. And, if you're not a horror fanatic, don't worry. We got lots of stuff that we do that isn't.
Yes.
We're not just about all the horror.
No.
Just this month we are.
It's just, the timing is we just have to be right now.
Yes.
It's October.
Yes, it is an imperative of some sort.
Yes.
All right. With that, it's time to... I'm going to have to get out of here on foot. And
I know. Ready to battle our way out?
Oh, there's tunnels in the city. We can use those.
Oh, perfect.
The old subway system that never got finished. All right, let's travel under the city. We figured our way out already.
Go. Nice. And we can use bicycles.
That's right. While everybody's surviving Maximum Overdrive, we'll be escaping through the tunnels. But we won't be using those bicycles and those scooters that are now chipped and you can rent.
Okay, final note. There has to be a scene with those scooters just destroying people.
They're already a hazard without them.
I know.
All right, with that, I've been Jason.
I continue to be Trish.
And we are out of here.
They can't. They can't.
Now look, honey, you're going to hurt yourself. Now come on, sweet thing.
Don't you sweet thing me.
I wanted you, baby. Just
They can't. We made them. You